All right, moving on to obviously another team that played and had kind of a surprise star, or not a surprise star. We've been seeing it over the last couple of weeks, but Tyrone Tracy really broke out in a major way on Monday Night Football against your Steelers, man. Talk about it, because this is a back that you and I both talked about him this offseason, showed a little bit of like, hey, he's got the pass catching chops, but he's showing the running chops as well to the
Hmm.
tune of over 140 yards rushing. And there was, Devin Singletary had been hurt, so we were like, I know my biggest question coming into last week was like coming into this week specifically was the limited workload last week because Devin Singletary was coming back from injury, or is this
Right.
a clear case of like a passing of the torch? And I think we saw that it was very clear and evident to me
Hmm.
on Monday night that this is a passing of the torch event,
Yeah.
and Tyrone Tracy now belongs in our lineups as a running back two or maybe more.
No, absolutely. I think we like you said, I've kind of been pretty high on Tyrone Tracy. I was very high on Tyrone Tracy. I love Tyrone Tracy, and I said this. They've I don't know why teams do this. It's kind of like the stupid. Did you watch that Chicago Bears game when
Oh
they
my
try to give the
gosh.
ball to the lineman? Like, I don't know what coaches do sometimes. They try to like I'm not saying I deserve to be an NFL coach, but like sometimes they make these brain dead decisions sometimes. Like, what the hell are you thinking? And I'm not saying this is one of those decisions, but Tyrone Tracy has been the best running back on this team and has should have gotten more. And we see this with rookies sometimes. They don't get work in the beginning. As the season progresses, they get more comfortable, understand how the offense works, adjust to the speed of the NFL game. They get more and more opportunities. And I just think that's what you're seeing with Tyrone Tracy. Now the biggest problem is that this offense isn't very good. Although last night they did surprise me. They were actually able to make explosive plays, able to move the football down the field. Daniel Jones didn't look too bad. Sure, he had that interception strip sack at the end of the game, brutal, but like they're able to move the football and kind of have the Steelers on the ropes for a majority of that game. So I think Tyrone Tracy, in my opinion, becomes an absolute high end RB2. And the reason being is he's a bell cow running back. And anytime you have a bell cow running back, I don't even care if it's Alexander Madison. Like, he's seeing bell cow usage as well. Like, these guys are RB2s at worst in fantasy football with even more upside. And I think Tyrone Tracy offers receiving upside and what we saw last night, explosive plays. Those
Yeah.
are two things that can elevate these guys to even higher. So Tyrone Tracy going forward, in my opinion, absolute high end RB2.
Well, I mean, if he's seeing 15 plus carries a game plus 2 to 3 catches in the reception game, like that is
Yeah,
that's what you classify as a high end RB2 because
RB2.
they have the receiving
Absolutely.
floor to go along with the explosiveness. And obviously being like a younger, well, not younger, he's an older rookie, but
Yeah,
a
yeah.
a younger
I think he's
player.
going to turn 25
Yeah, he's
this
about to
year.
turn 25 is
That's
crazy.
crazy.
But he's gonna have opportunity. The one thing we gotta to obviously see, and it's happened to this Giants team already, is the player gets a concussion and then they miss a week. So
Yeah.
hopefully this is not a multi-week absence like it was for Malik Neighbors. But if Tyrone Tracy can be on the field next week or even the week after that, he automatically to me is a must start every week, even over some of your more notable names, some of the guys that we've been, talking about all season long, even like, your Javante Williams, some of those guys in that
Who's
territory. It's
awful
like
this
Chuba
week.
Hubbard. It's like I'm
Yeah.
starting Tyrone Tracy over those guys, and I don't think there's really a reason not to. Like, because
Yeah.
this offense, I think, is going to be the one thing that everybody says, oh, it's the Giants offense. It's not as good, but it doesn't matter because he's a big part of why this thing moves. Like when
Hmm.
it's Singletary, now we're talking about maybe it's a little slower, a little bit more limited. But we've seen when he's been on the field, he provides an
He
explosiveness this
looked good
offense has
last
been
night.
missing.
I was surprised. Like, he looked really good last night. He
Yeah.
was really impressive.
It's just sometimes they look the part, and Tyrone Tracy
Yeah.
looks the part. That's one
Yeah.
thing that like you battle with rookies, especially like later drafted rookies. You're like, ah, are they really the part? And it's like he looks the part to me. So
Hmm.
I think for me, when like you're looking at fantasy and you're looking for potential upside, you want guys that can come in and immediately have impact. It's like he checks all the boxes for me. So I'm
Absolutely.
in on Tracy. What about Singletary? What do we do with him? Obviously, most people have dropped him at this point. He
Yeah.
could be
He
obviously
got
the starting running
yeah.
back this week. Could have a good workload. Like, what are we doing with
Yeah.
Singletary?
I mean, if he got dropped, it might be a little bit unfortunate just because we see these guys a lot of times miss the following game after the concussion.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard for them to clear it. So he could potentially be if he's in there, he's going to be the workhorse. So it's another guy. Obviously, we're talking highly about Tyrone Tracy and the volume, but Singletary's going to see the volume if Tyrone Tracy is out, which I think that there's honestly a pretty good chance. I don't know when they have a bye. Did they already
They
have
got a
their
bye
bye?
week 11.
So I don't, yeah, I don't want to say he could be out for 2 weeks, but if Tyrone Tracy's out this week, I mean, you get the Commanders, which Commanders defense has actually been, well,
Better.
you had
Yeah.
Swift kind of eat him up. He had a long touchdown, but still, he had a really good game. But then you get that the biggest matchup though is that Carolina Panthers. I'm not saying that Tracy's going to miss 2 weeks, but I think Neighbors missed 2 weeks, didn't he? Did he
Neighbors
miss two
did.
weeks?
They were calling his like a one of a kind type of concussion
Oh,
where he had to
okay.
miss 2 weeks. So hopefully it's a
So
1 week
yeah,
thing.
hopefully but you
But it is
never
a
know.
short week
Like,
too.
yeah. Oh, what, that week?
No, this week is a short week for
Oh
him
yeah,
right
because they
now.
played
So
Monday night. Yeah.
yeah,
So I'm not saying Tyrone Tracy's going to miss, 2 weeks. That game's also at 9:30. So I'm assuming that game's overseas.
the Carolina game is
That Carolina Panthers game. It must be
probably
because it's at
Germany.
9:30 a.m. Yeah, the Germany or something. Oh, it is Germany. Yes, I remember because it was Panthers and Giants. Oh my god. But yeah, so that game's overseas. So I'm not saying Tyrone Tracy is going to miss that game, but Singletary becomes definitely a play 100% with bye weeks, with injuries. If Tyrone Tracy misses time, and if he's playing, whoever gets that Carolina game, oh my gosh, fire him up. That's a great
Yeah.
matchup.
Really good matchup. And we've seen Singletary, like, as good as Tyrone Tracy's been, we've seen Singletary at least be like startable
Yeah, he's had
and
some good
flex
weeks.
worthy. So he
Yeah,
shouldn't be out there. If he's out there this week, like that's actually a pickup, I would say. I would recommend,
yeah.
especially because like running back has been so thin this year too. So I think if you can go get yourself a Singletary, like it's not the best pickup in the world, but at the end of the day, you got to have starting running